Hey guys, it's Miss Phelps. Today we're doing lesson 1.5, absolute value equations. Alright, absolute value means the distance from zero. So if you see these two bars, that's gonna mean absolute value. So in this problem, the absolute value of x equals 3. That means that x is 3 spaces away from 0. So if this is 0 right here, 1, 2, 3 spaces would be 3. You can also go this way 3 spaces, which is -3. So absolute value means that you're going to have two different answers. You can have the positive version and the negative version, but whatever number you put in here, it's going to pop out positive. So for this one, we're just going to solve this like normal. But remember, whatever this is, it's going to pop out positive. So first we're going to not add, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides like normal. 3 minus 3 is 0. So bring down the y, and 5 minus 3 is 2. Alright, so if we put 2 back in here, we have 2 plus 3 is 5. And that's going to pop out as 5. Now we need to do the negative version. So we have 1 plus 3 equals -5. So we are going to solve this exactly the same way. Subtract 3 on both sides, and y equals -8. Now if we put this -8 back in here, we'll get -8 right here for y, plus 3, and that's going to be -5. And then that's going to pop out positive. So remember, you're always going to have two different solutions for absolute values. Alright, we've got the absolute value of x minus 4 equals 6. So we're going to start out by writing our two equations. So we've got this one, and then we also have x minus 4 equals -6. So positive and -6. So we are going to add 4 on both sides. So that cancels and leaves us with x equals 6 plus 4 is 10. Over here that one cancels and we have -6 plus 4 is -2. So our answers are 10 and -2. Okay, over here, remember whatever we put in here is going to pop out positive, which means that for this one there's no solution, because if the answer were to pop out as 5 in here, that would come out as +5, or even if it were -5 in here, it would pop out positive. So we're saying that 5 cannot equal -5. So there is no solution. Alright, the absolute value of x equals 10. So we just need to write our two equations, the positive one and then the negative one. And since x is already alone, that's our answer. X can be 10, because that's going to pop out as 10, and x can be -10. If we put a -10 in here, that's 10 spaces away from 0 as well. Alright, for this one, our other equation is x minus 1, and then this is 4, so we need to do x minus 1 equals -4. Alright, so we're going to add 1 to both sides of our equation. So those will cancel. We have x On this side, 4 plus 1 is 5. Over here, these cancel, so we have x equals negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. And remember, if we have a negative on this side, and we just have the absolute value over here, then we have no solution. Alright, we're getting a little trickier here. So we've got a negative 4, but we need to get our absolute value alone on this side. So in order to do that, we've got to get rid of this negative 10. We've got to put it on the other side. And the way to do that is to cancel this out by adding 10 to both sides. So 10 minus 10 is 0, so it cancels. Now we are left with the absolute value of 9 plus 3x. And then on this side we have 10 minus 4 is 6. Now this is positive, so now we can solve it. So we have to do the negative one, so I'm just going to put it over here as negative 6. Okay, now in order to get x alone, we need to subtract 9 on all three sides. You can also do this by just writing a whole separate equation. You can write 3x plus 9 equals negative 6 over here. But it's the same thing as just writing the equation like this. So cancel those. Negative 6 and negative 9 is negative 15. Now we've got 3x. And over here we have 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Now we need to divide by 3 on all three sides. So that cancels. Negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. That equals x. And it also equals, on this side, negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Alright, number 4, the absolute value of x minus 2 plus 5 equals 9. So we need to get this absolute value by itself, and that means we have to get rid of this plus 5 over here. The way to get rid of a plus 5 is to minus 5 on both sides. So we've got x minus 2, 9 minus 5 is 4. Alright, now that we have our absolute value alone, we can now do our two equations. So I'm just going to do that by putting my negative 4 on this side. Now we need to add 2 on both sides. That cancels. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Now we have x alone, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So x equals negative 2 and 6. We have two answers there. Alright, for this one, we need to get the absolute value alone, and we have this 4 over here that's touching it. Remember that if we have a number touching, that means timesing. And the way to get rid of timesing is to divide. So we're going to divide this whole side by 4, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Those cancel, and we have 2x plus 7, and that's the absolute value. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now that we have our absolute value alone, we can put our negative 4 on the other side. Alright, we need to get x alone, so we are going to subtract 7 on all three sides. These cancel and leave us with just 2x. Negative 4, negative 7 is negative 11. 4 and negative 7 is negative 3. Now we have 2 times x right here, so we're going to divide by 2. Alright, now we're going to cancel that out. So I'm just going to erase that right there. Now we have x alone. Alright, number 6. We have negative 2 times the absolute value of 5x minus 1 minus 3 equals negative 11. So remember, we're getting this all by itself. And to do that, we have this negative 2 timesing it and this negative 3 over here. So we need to get rid of our adding and subtracting first. So we are going to add 3 to both sides. We've got negative 2 with the absolute value of 5x minus 1, and negative 11, and 3 is negative 8. And we still don't have our absolute value alone because we have this negative 2 that's timesing, so we need to divide on both sides. That cancels. So we have 5x minus 1 in the absolute value. And negative 8 divided by negative 2 is going to give us positive 4. So now we can go ahead and put our negative 4 on the other side. So we are going to add 1 to all 3 sides. That cancels. We have 5x left. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Now we're going to divide by 5 on all 3 sides. That cancels. So now we have x. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then we just leave that as a fraction, negative 3 over 5.